Hey everybody, welcome to Super Comic Fun Time. I'm doing this live stream to go over some of the books I've gotten from Alterna. I've read roughly half of the All Comic Pack that I unpacked on Wednesday, and I thought it would be fun just to give a brief sentence or two description of each one and how I liked it or not. I will say this, I enjoyed almost everything. Just one was not, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't to my liking. So with that said, let me just show you. This is the two stacks I have so far. Let's see how it looks on camera. So you can see they're roughly equal. This is the red stack, so this one looks like I might have read slightly more than half. And so let's put that one down. And starting off, as I said in my unpacking video, I was not feeling very good. So I decided to start with what I thought would be a comedic one, and that's Mr. Crypt. In this pack, I got 1 and 2. 3 just came out this last Wednesday, so I have to track that down. This was a very fun book. Being sick, it's important to laugh, and this made me laugh several times. It's a very simple concept. A skeleton comes out of the ground. He can't remember his name, and he has adventures. Mr. Crypt is the first name he thought of when he met somebody who wasn't running away from him to come up with a name. So I don't know, like, I thought it would be sort of like an old Casper the Ghost, where they might have 3 stories in it, but while it could be broken up into stories, the way they wrote it was just to have a whole narrative through the book, and it was just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. So there isn't too much to give away. I would say this is a very family-friendly book. I would say, like, if you want to get your kids into comics, this would be a good one to start with. I think, you know, the art style is very cartoony, and it's just fun. It's a little bit like, it's not like Scooby-Doo at all. So like in this first issue, it deals with Mr. Crypt coming out of the grave, and the townspeople aren't too happy with him. And in the second book, Mr. Crypt fights vampires. So 2 very, very fun ones, highly recommended. I hope this series will continue. This is 2 in, there's 3 in this series. So the 3rd one just came out Wednesday, and according to what I've seen on Twitter, they have sold out on Diamond. So again, I can't say enough about Mr. Crypt. If you get it, you'll probably enjoy it. It might not, there might be a certain age level, like, you know, if you're like a cynical teenager, you might not like it that much. But if you're an older guy like me into nostalgia, or, you know, a kid around 8 years old, just getting into comics, I think you'll love it. The next one is that I read was Doppelganger, and this is 1 in a 4-issue limited series. This is the only one that was available in this pack. This has more adult themes. I can't remember if there's any bad language in this one, but it does deal with a family man who one day meets his doppelganger, and things aren't going so good for him. I enjoyed this. This could be, right now I would say this first issue was more of a mystery, but it could turn into a horror comic. Nothing was too horrifying in this one. There's like one or 2 things that might be disturbing and might be considered horror. And you can see he looks a little greenish here. I don't know if that's intentional, but yeah, I did enjoy this story, and I look forward to seeing where this one goes, how it ends. Next, I read Mother Russia. So there was 3 out of 3 of this one. This was a fun one. You might think it's a horror story because it has zombies in it, but it's really much more of an adventure story. It's kind of interesting with all of the drama on Twitter between Nazis and social justice warriors. In here you have the basic premise is World War II ends early because the dead come back to life. And this woman, she's a Stalinist Russian, and she's in Stalingrad, and this is a Nazi invader in Stalingrad, but they have to fight together against the dead. And it's kind of funny because there's this whole scene where you know, or she just wants to kill him because he's Nazi. And he goes, you know, right now there aren't any more ideologies. The dead are walking the earth. So this was a fun one. Again, this is more for a mature reader. I don't remember any bad language in this one, but well, I didn't find the zombies particularly scary. If that sort of thing bothers you, I mean, to me, the zombies were just there so these two characters could interact. I don't know if there's going to be more. That did seem to hint that there would be another series at some point, or there could be. This one was also one of the few ones that I read that were in black and white, and I thought the artwork was pretty good for this one. I haven't been mentioning the artwork, but this one is nice, clear and crisp. If you look at that page, it's very good black and white work because you know, nothing gets too muddy. I really did enjoy this one. I do like this. Yeah, this kind of gives you the whole thing. This is the third one, but it says, moments ago they were enemies. Now they must fight together against undead evil in the world. So, yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed this series. It was a lot of fun. Next, we have Amazing Age. This is one of the longer series. And this is, in this pack, there were 4 issues in a 5-issue series. So I have to get the final issue of this. This is a lot of fun. It's essentially about, it's a childhood fantasy. I think this is a good one for readers of all ages. Let's see. You know, I don't want to give too much away, but it's essentially kids become superheroes. So over the 4 issues, they kind of learn things about themselves, and it's written by somebody who, I think he actually wrote this story when he was a kid. So it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend Amazing Age, and I have to find the final issue of this. Go out and get it. Now here is one of the darker ones, and this is one that I didn't enjoy as much. It's called The Chair. It's a horror book, and this one, it's very moody. It's another black and white one, and it's very moody, and it's very psychological too, and because of that, it can be confusing. So, and they've made a movie out of this. I'd like to see the movie someday. But yeah, I did not dislike it, but it wasn't my favorite. And that was a 4-issue miniseries. Now, this next horror story, this is by Cody Souza, and he's the one you can see up here. I've got this card that I got from him. It's signed on the back. It was a Twitter contest, so that was kind of cool. This is called Croak, and this is a 3-issue series. And this was a little bit scary. I wouldn't say it was like the most, you know, I'm an adult reading a comic book. The colors in this one are a little muddier, but that didn't hamper my enjoyment of it too much, and it was kind of spooky. And I like that. It's hard for me to find a comic book I like that. And you know, this actually looks a lot better on the camera when I'm looking in it. So I did enjoy this one, and the way it ends, it looks like there's possible that this story could continue. What is the name of it? Sonitis is, I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that came out this Wednesday. Either that or it comes out in February. I forget. And maybe that's the continuation of this. I don't know. But this was a very good story. It was creepy. And that's hard to pull off in a comic book. So I did really like that one. And then finally, this is The Wicked Righteous. And I don't know if I have all of this. Yeah, this one, I just have the first 3 issues, and I've only read the first 2. This is a very good book. This is more for mature readers, mostly due to language. It's a post-apocalyptic world where most of the adults die, and it's a lot of children having to. Oh, I didn't notice that, this flag in the back. I didn't pay attention to that. But yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm only 2 issues in, but I really like it so far. It's really gripping, and I want to see where this story goes. It's I guess, like, I could also see it's not like The Stand, but I could see a Stand reference in there. And I don't know if that's intentional. It could just be part of the story. So that's what I've read so far. If you haven't given Alterna comics a try yet, they're a lot of fun. They're inexpensive. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. All the stories were competently written. Sometimes because of the newsprint, some of the art looked muddy at times, but that didn't, I mean, I was so into the story. I'm more of a story person over the art person, so that was not a big deal with me. I make my own art in my head, and any art that's on the paper tends to enhance that. Excuse me a second. So yeah, if you have tried Alterna, whatever your favorite titles, I'm actually, they've got a subscription, I think $120 a year. So I've been toying with the idea that when I get my tax refund, I might get that subscription. So we will see about that. I really do want to get the next Mr. Crypt. That was a lot of fun. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and draw it to a close here. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and have a super comic fun time. Love you all. Bye.